Okay. Hi, this is Ice333. Currently, it is November 6th, 2025. Okay, well, I did say that there's going to be a shocking event in regards to Donald Trump on, I believe, on the date of November 5th, 2025. And apparently, the Republicans lost several um, elections or whatever that they really wanted to win or whatever. But I think there's two that stood out the most. So, and I think one was the New York race where I believe Donald Trump he endorsed Andrew Cuomo, and apparently a man named Zoran Mamdani beat Andrew Cuomo, and I guess that may have shocked him. And if that didn't, I believe there's also a man who goes by the name of Jay Jones. I think he ran for the Virginia State Attorney General, and he also won it, even though pretty much um I think he said that he wished death on, like, reportedly he wished death on conservatives' children and conservatives or whatever. I don't know. My main reason for making this channel was to focus on the astrology that was going on inside of Bill Clinton's chart and Hillary Clinton's chart and Donald Trump's chart. And mainly it was Hillary Clinton, but yeah. So anyway, and also I think Donald Trump he claimed that Zoran Mandami was like a socialist or whatever. But looking back at what Andrew Cuomo did in regards to the COVID-19, the pandemic or whatever, in 2020, in 2021 and 2022, I I would probably vote for Zoran Mandami or whatever. Just looking at just the past events in regards to Andrew Cuomo. So let me see. Let me see what I want to get to in regards to this video. I had some notes written down, so let me pause for a second. Okay, so there were a lot of Democrats that were celebrating. I believe also Chuck Schumer, he had a progression inside of his chart that hit on November the 5th, 2025, where his progressed moon made an aspect to his nodes. And like it was a fated event for him. And I think, like I said, for Donald Trump, his progressed moon made an aspect to his natal Uranus or his progressed Uranus, I forgot now. But it was a shocking event for him. I also said on October 30th for Hunter Biden, his progressed moon made an aspect to his Uranus as well, and it was a shocking event for him. And that's when the GOP they deemed the pardons that Joe Biden signed to be voided or whatever, because they were signed with the auto pen or something like that. And there was probably some other stuff that went with that, but I just know that it was a shocking event for Hunter Biden. And I also told you last year on, I think, June the 2nd, 2024, when Donald Trump was they accused Donald Trump of all these felonies or whatever, these 34 felony accounts or whatever. I told you that the same sense of loss and depression that Donald Trump felt on that day, I believe I think it was ruled against him. Those 34 felonies were ruled against him on May the 28th, I believe, 2024. I said that on January 20th for Joe Biden, on January 20th, 2025, that he would feel the same sense of loss and depression that Donald Trump felt on that day. Let me pause for a second to get a little water. Okay, so I did say that pretty much Joe Biden on January 20th, 2025 will feel the same sense of loss and depression that Donald Trump felt back when he received those 34 felonies. So, anyway, and you saw what happened with the auto pen. And anyways, my point is that it keeps coming up. The auto pen pardons or whatever. Anyway, in regards to I didn't really even know that there were elections going on November 5th, 2025. And I thought I was looking at a protest or whatever. Well, I was expecting a protest or whatever, because they said it was going to be a protest to surround the White House, something like that. And I don't even know if that happened tonight. I just noticed that all the Republicans or whatever, they were just going crazy about this election or whatever. And I was like, oh, whatever. It's not going to end inside of their favor. But for some reason, Hunter Biden, he got not Hunter Biden, Trump Jr. He got lucky on November the 5th, 2025. Maybe he waged his bet against or for whatever that man's name is, or whatever. They say he's Islamic or something like that, and they're saying that, oh my God, I can't believe. I'm not saying that I agree with this and all this other stuff. What I'm just saying what was reported. They're saying that, oh, he's Islamic, and I can't believe that you had the twin tower situation, and now you have an Islam governor or whatever. And so I'm just like, look, Andrew Cuomo probably is no better. and there's no he's probably worse. So I mean, I don't care about New York. I don't care, and even Alabama. I already said before, I'm not voting until Jennifer Boozer's shop, Alabama, is back open, because Donald Trump, he ran on the premise that he was for the rescheduling of marijuana, and yet now that he's inside the office, he sent um he's sending the attorney general and on all these other people or whatever. They're raiding shops and closing down hemp shops and vape shops or whatever. And so, and these are the people that invested inside of his 2018 Farm Bill. And so, if Donald Trump has like some kind of divine, I don't know, proclamation or whatever in regards to the immigration, because he's been focused a lot on the immigration and trying to get Mexicans out via ICE or whatever. I believe that pretty much he's focused on it so much because I think that his immigration policy when he was doing his speech or whatever, and he was almost assassinated, he turned his head about slightly, and pretty much he was talking about this campaign about the immigration policies, and so he probably thinks that God spared him because of his immigration policies. That's nice and all, but Donald Trump, other people, they invested inside the 2018 Farm Bill, and so if you want to think about some other divine proclamation or whatever, Charlie Kirk was assassinated around the same time that Pam Bundish and RK Jr. or whatever, they were pretty much raiding stores and hemp shops that pretty much, and taking their vapes and stuff like that really invested inside of you. So pretty much maybe that was a sign too, that from God, that you need to leave these hemp shops and vape shops alone and get them back open, because they're closing because of your what's the word I'm looking for? Let me pause for a second. I believe the word I was looking for was indifference. Is negligent indifference. Anyway, because you're moving so slow in regards to rescheduling marijuana and stuff like that, people that invest inside of your bill, they're suffering. So, and yet you're aligning with people like Dan Patrick. I haven't seen with Andy Witt, but I saw Donald Trump with Dan Patrick, and like they're still just. Anyway, I'm just saying, it's funny how God saved your life when you pretty much was looking at the immigration chart, but he didn't say you raided these hemp shops or whatever, and as Pam Bundy was speaking or whatever, Charlie Kirk got assassinated. Anyway, let me pause for another second to move on to something else. Okay, let me start back because I got a lot of notes here. So I mean, I'm kind of glad that the man won, or the men won. What, Jay Jones and that Iranian man in New York? Like it goes to show people like Andy Witt and Dan Patrick or whatever, that you're not untouchable in regards to politics. But yeah, I think that some of these people, they like threaten people's lives or whatever. And I mean, what gets me is, I was looking back at this astrologer who made a comment when Charlie Kirk was killed. He said you live by the sword, you die by the sword. Not knowing that Charlie Kirk, he's let me pause for a second. But Charlie Kirk was basically a preacher. This man, and he was very, very good at just pretty much just de-escalating things, or just bringing common sense to things. And yet this man, who he is from a different country. He's still alive, an older man, the astrologer. But he basically said, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. I'm just looking at this man like. Anyway, so going back to these tarot cards. I bought these cards, I believe October 23rd or October 24th, one of these days or whatever. But I'm gonna show some, because these cards scared me at first. And then for some reason I had a weird dream. And then I ended up going to a website and downloading a PDF file of all the cards. in a row because I didn't want to touch cards anymore. Because they scared me. I couldn't even talk right when I was around these cards. I was like, I just kept stuttering. The point, though. So what stopped me from being scared of these cards was pretty much looking at them and trying to find the meaning. And I got the meaning after having a weird dream. And so, anyway, so it brought me back to the man saying, "Oh, you live by the sword, you die by the sword." And I'm like, it's the Democrats that are pretty much killing people. But let me pause for a second. Okay, so Charlie Kirk, he basically talked about God. And so I had this relative or cousin or whatever. So he was over here and he pretty much I guess he despises Charlie Kirk or whatever, but he said that Charlie Kirk was shot like an animal. And he had this like slight smile. And I'm like, okay. And so I said, well, I'm not that much of a Charlie Kirk fan, which I'm really not. I saw like 1 or 2 or 3 of his debates before, and I'm like, I don't really care too much about this or whatever. Anyway, I'm not finna. But he's just not my cup of tea. But the thing about it is that pretty much a lot of things he said, he was right a lot of the times. Just like Candace Owens, she's right a lot of the times, but I'm not talking about back then. I haven't watched any of her new stuff or whatever. She was right a lot of the times, but it wasn't what she said, it was how she said it. And that's what turned me off. But anyway, my point. So in regards to Charlie Kirk and this astrology or whatever, being that Charlie Kirk, his natal sun is conjunct Spike, the fixed star Spike, I believe. I don't have his exact birth time, but I believe that his sun is conjunct Spica, and so is my ascendant is conjunct Spica, weirdly enough. And transiting Mars, it conjoined it, while transiting Moon opposed it on the day of the 10th of September, I believe. Anyway, but the fixed star Spica, it means the unarmed one. So I'm looking at this. I'm watching this astrologer talking about you live by the sword, you die by the sword, and I'm like, that does not relate to him. It more so relates to the Democrats. Anyway, so another thing. The only reason why everybody hasn't went crazy and killed each other yet is because they believe in God. And being in that fact, that's forgiveness in itself. And so I'm like, there's probably people saying, "Oh, he has tarot cards. He's playing with tarot." I'm like, look, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do, and you can do what you're gonna do. I don't want to be scared of anything in regards to like all this stuff, whatever. So I try to find out what is going on, and that's what I'm doing. Anyway, let me pause for a second. But anyway, I want to find out what I need to find out and keep it moving. So anyway, moving on past me, pretty much. Let's see here. So speaking of God, Donald Trump, he made some announcement in regards to Nigeria or some place overseas. I'm burnt out. I'm tired. But I believe it's Nigeria. I hope it's Nigeria. Let me pause a second let me just pause to make sure. Okay, so basically Donald Trump, he basically said that there's a major concern in regards to how the government of Nigeria handles Christians and Christianity. And so pretty much I believe there was a post by Nicki Minaj, weirdly enough, and I made that video one of my previous videos talking about Nicki Minaj and like the song Itty Bitty Piggy, and anyway, just basically flexing and saying I'm the god of astrology or whatever. But the moreover point is that Nicki Minaj, she came out and said, "Thank you for defending God," because anyway, you just have to go back and look at her post or whatever. Because I'm trying to get to an actual point here. So, but my point is that pretty much Nicki Minaj, she's like, yes, you're defending Christianity and stuff like that. And see, there's this other black media girl who just talks about pretty much celebrities and I guess now news media since the government is shut down, And like this black girl, she was saying that she started off and she made sure she said that, oh well, it's the Democrats' fault that that the government well not she didn't say it was their fault. She basically said that they're fighting for us in regards to our insurance, and that's why the government is shut down. That's the whole reason for it. And so it's the Republicans' fault and it's the Democrats' fault too. But the thing about it is that you can talk about getting your insurance and stuff like that and premiums and stuff like that lowered and all this stuff while the government is open. But it's the Democrats that are using this situation as leverage. And now and what I didn't know is that this was an election period or an election cycle because I don't keep up with all this stuff. Like I said, I created this account to pretty much point out the astrology that was going on inside of Hillary Clinton's chart, Bill Clinton's chart, and then and Donald Trump's chart too. Well, I started off with Hillary Clinton and then Hillary and Donald Trump's chart and Kamala Harris too, but still, and then pretty much it led to Bill Clinton, and I was like, oh, it's him. It was him this entire time, and we're gonna see something about that come November 13th, 2025, or November 12th. It's around this time. It's around that time, November 2025, in a few days. And also, Donald Trump he made a cryptic tweet, or he posted not a cryptic tweet, but he posted a cryptic message on Truth Social. Let me read that real quick. Let me pause for a second and pull that up. Well, the phone just went kaput, so I can only go by memory. So basically, I think he posted he said and so it begins, and I believe this is after some Iranian man won the New York governorship from Andrew Cuomo, Zoran Mandami, or whatever. Let me see. Is there anything else I'm missing? So I'm just saying that it's so moving on from that. Back to God. I'm looking at these Democrats and like it's like they're all anti-God and stuff like that. They're just. It seems like they're trying to destroy Christianity or just destroy religion in general because it's like it goes against. It's they have noticed that pretty much people that are religious they tend to lean more towards the Republican side, and so you have all these black people that are voting Democrat and they're going to church every day and all this other stuff, whatever. Not every day, but every Sunday or every Saturday and Sunday, maybe sometimes Wednesday too. But they're voting Democrat, and these Democrats are trying to push these LGBTQ agendas inside of schools, and yet reportedly take out religion. And I was watching an interview with this lady. Her name is Joy Reid, and she was interviewing Kamala Harris. And so one of her sponsors apparently was some sponsor that was trying that focused on trying to get religion out of schools. I'm like, and you think that I'm going to vote for that if I was just stupid. Anyway, it's like a full on attack against Christianity or religion in general, but yet a push of LGBTQ ideals. Let's see here. So the phone's not kaput. It's just I was trying to set up and load I believe True Social and I guess it got anyway my next point because I'm probably jumping all over places. I'm just tired. I'm burnt out on this stuff. But so I was going down True Social whatever. And pretty much the first thing I heard was Donald Trump saying end the filibuster. End the filibuster. And I'm like, you don't want to end that don't end that filibuster. Because I mean it seems like everything that he does, these Democrats are like, he's a dictator. He's this, he's that, he's this. And it's like, don't end the filibuster because they'll just say that you're trying to be a king. Let me pause for a second to get my point because I'm kind of flustered right now. Okay, so I was saying don't end the filibuster. Pretty much, I mean, I'm just looking at pretty much this everything that's going on so far. It's these Democrats, no matter what you do, they're gonna keep on saying that, oh, it's Trump's fault, even when it's them that are doing it. I mean, first you had the Charlie Kirk assassination, And yet they're celebrating this, but yet if a Democrat died or whatever, they would say, "Oh my God, Trump is." As a matter of fact, Trump said that I don't forgive Charlie Kirk's killer or whatever, and they're like, well, how could you say such a thing? I'm like, so that's just one example. The other examples was pretty much, I mean, right before Charlie Kirk's funeral or whatever, Donald Trump he had a meeting to go to in regards to the General Assembly or whatever. The United I'm tired. The United Nations General Assembly, I believe, and I believe that happened around what September 18th, September 19th, 2025, where Donald Trump he flew to the United Nations or whatever, I believe. I'm probably getting this wrong, but what happened was he was trying to go. There was to go up an escalator or whatever, and it looks like somebody stopped the escalator. And then when he finally got to the podium or whatever to speak, the teleprompter didn't work. And so, and kind of find out later on, pretty much I guess the sound was off too. So some people they couldn't understand what Donald Trump was saying from the mic or whatever. Something happened. So that was like days before Charlie Kirk's funeral. And then on his way back flying home or whatever, apparently he had one plane almost crashed into his plane, and then also I think the hydraulics went out on his plane right before Charlie Kirk's funeral. And then let's see here. Then you had Charlie Kirk's funeral or whatever, and yet a Democrat assassinated Charlie Kirk allegedly and reportedly, and yet you had people saying that, oh my God, the Charlie Kirk funeral was like a Nazi rally. Yet they killed this man. Yet, in my opinion, their rhetoric killed this man, this preacher. And people are still, like I said, the relative that had this slight smile when he said that he was killed like an animal. And I'm like, okay. And then to even have this other astrologer say that you live by the sword, you die by the sword, and yet Charlie Kirk, he just peacefully debated with people. Anyway, let me see. Is that everything that I'm? So my overall point was, don't get rid of filibuster, because they'll just say that, oh, Trump he's been a king. And again, Donald Trump's not going to be too happy about. Donald Trump is not going to be too happy about the midterm elections. I don't know what's going to go down, but he's just not going to be too happy about it. I don't know, but I do know that in 2028, that he should be happy about the results of that election. And so I said I was going to talk about these tarot cards because there's some people that said, oh, is it upside down? No, but there's some people that said they're evil and all this other stuff, or whatever. I'm going to sit up and I don't like to be scared of stuff, so I looked into them, and like, this is probably the most it taught me a lot just by researching what these cards meant. And so it's like, I'm like, I think I might use them now, especially after having that dream, but not inside of these videos or whatever. Or maybe once in a while, but yeah. Somebody's gonna probably call, he's a witch, he's on witchcraft. No, they're just cards. But anyway, so even that relative, I was talking to that relative or cousin or whatever, and pretty much I told him the story of these cards, of me buying these cards, and he was like, oh, he was freaking out, and then he said something about the Charlie. He was like, he said they killed Charlie Kirk like an animal, and I'm like, you voted Democrat, and yet these people are trying to take God out of schools, and yet also push this LGBTQ agenda. What did the Sign of Jonah? And so I told him about the day that I made this video, in regards to how I felt about Charlie Kirk's assassin. I think his name is Tyler Robinson. I'm so burnt out that it's like, I hope his name is Tyler Robinson in regards to this defamation. But anyway, I said that pretty much the sign of Jonah. God made Jonah. He sent Jonah to the city of Nineveh or whatever, or Nineveh, to tell them to stop their evil ways, or I'm going to destroy this city. And Jonah, he was like, I'm not doing that shit. He skedaddled. He got on a boat. He was like, I'm not doing that shit. Because the story is that well, the story in regards to what I've heard, because I just heard it and I was like, wow, because apparently the sign of Jonah, it came up sometime. Let me pause for a second, see if hopefully I can find the date that this sign came up inside of the sky. So let me pause. Okay, so apparently the eclipses that went across the United States in 2017 and 2024, apparently they were kind of like the sign of Jonah. So those major eclipses that happened 2017 and 2024, those two events were, I believe, like the sign of Jonah. And also they said that the constellation Cetus, or the whale, was also noted to be in the sky during the 2024 eclipse. Let's see here. And also in 2017, the eclipse passed over cities. I think there was a city named Nineveh and Salem or something like that too. So just do a little research. This phone is too slow. I'm burnt out. Just if you're interested, just look it up. But so that was apparently the sign of Jonah. Anyway, my point. So Jonah, he skedaddled, got in the boat and was like, look, I ain't doing this shit. Why? Because pretty much the people of that city had killed so many of his relatives and friends, and etc. And they killed a lot of his loved ones, and he was like, I'm not. He knew how forgiving God was, and that pretty much he was like, no, I'm not finna basically save these people. Destroy them. If you're gonna destroy them, destroy them. And so Jonah, he was supposed to be a prophet, and God said, go do it. He was like, nope. And so he got in that boat, he fell off it, and a whale swallowed him up, and he kept him inside him, I think, for what, 3 days and 3 nights. I'm not. Let me pause for a second to get that, because I'm like I said, I remember the story, and I was only reminded of the story because of these eclipses these celestial events that happened recently, and I guess it was the eclipses that happened in 2017 and 2024. Let me pause for a second. So Jonah was inside of the belly of the great fish for 3 days and 3 nights. Why is it 33? Why is it my number? But 3 days and 3 nights. Let me pause for another second. So anyway, he sat inside of the belly of the whale for 3 days and 3 nights. My number. And finally he said, okay, I'll do it. And so he went to the city, and he told the people that God said, if you don't change your ways, he's gonna blow this bitch up. And so he went to I think he went and sat under some kind of tree or whatever, and he just said, God, just kill me now, because I already know you're gonna spare him, and God did spare him. And so my point is that, looking at what Tyler Robinson did to Charlie Kirk, reportedly and allegedly, the death penalty to me, no. If his fate is inside of my hands, I'm not gonna. I want to have you first. The devil or Jesus God can have you later on to reap to impose their judgment on you during that. But I want to have you first. You know what I mean? That boy be sitting there watching every doggone debate that Charlie Kirk had all day, 24/7. And when he tried to go to sleep, I don't have the volume up even louder. But anyway, so let me see. Was that my point before I get to the cards? Let me pause for a second. So Donald Trump saying that no, I don't forgive Tyler Robinson. I don't forgive my enemies or whatever. Me neither. And so why would that be? Why would that be like controversial, especially when the rhetoric, in my opinion, of these Democrats was the reason why Charlie Kirk was assassinated. And yet, karmically, it showed inside of Donald Trump's chart that something huge is about to happen. So maybe Donald Trump was supposed to pass away in regards to looking at some other people's charts or whatever. But they ended up being disappointed. But maybe the death of Charlie Kirk satisfied some kind of other karma for Donald Trump, so that he can keep on living, so that he can do what he was meant to do. Because I said previously, I said pretty much Donald Trump has a lot more to do. He's not. Something's gonna happen. It's gonna piss him off, but it's not gonna take Donald Trump out. Anyway, so was that my point? Let me pause for another second. So again, pretty much, I'm saying don't end the filibuster. If I were Trump, I would not end the filibuster, because it's like, one, it was still the Democrats would still say that, oh, he's been a king. That's one. But two, the Democrats are slated to have some kind of gain during the midterm elections, which is in 2026. And so if the filibuster is gone, that means that there's no telling what they can do. So I would not end that filibuster. That's just if I was inside Donald Trump's shoes. But I mean, like I said, and then also, like I said, in regards to people still saying that, oh, Donald Trump is a king and a et cetera, et cetera. I mean, this black media celebrity / media reporter, she was saying that pretty much the Democrats are pretty much they're fighting for you in regards to this government shutdown because of the insurance benefits. But like I said, the insurance benefits can be debated over while the government is open. And so this girl looked at this UPS plane crash, this fiery UPS plane crash that happened, I believe, on the 4th of November. And that's funny. That's right before the elections. Ain't that funny? But she was looking at it like, oh my God, this is so bad. We need our flight whatever. This is the Democrats' fault. And so, like I said again, I guess things are going to have to get so bad before they can even try to get better. Because, like I said, the Democrats, they something could come up with them in regards to having a good outcome in the 2026 elections. However, right after that, when these people get into power, I believe March of 2027, that's when a lot of people will start to rally around Trump, or some kind of relationships will be formed in regards to Donald Trump. And I said that could be around the time that where people see where they fucked up at, but we will see. Is that everything? I'm just looking at these notes. So the filibuster and the UPS plane crash that happened right before the results right before the voting events on November 5th, 2025. And apparently they also said there was a lot of bomb threats at a lot of poll places or whatever. And there was a lot of well, I don't know. Just I know it was bomb threats around at poll places or whatever. Anyway, it's like these Democrats, they just keep on doing stuff. And this, I'm thinking back to this astrologer saying, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. And so that's why I pulled out these tarot cards, because these cards tell a story. They do. Specifically, what is it? Jesus Christ. Let me pause for a second. Okay, so I'm gonna pull out the tarot cards. So if they scare you or whatever, click off now. So this is the back of the cards, and I'm not gonna show them yet, but so I can get the reflections off here. So this is the back of the cards. So I'm gonna start with, again, Judgment. Like I said, let me get the lore. Let me pull it up real quick. Let me pause for a second. Okay, I'm back. Hopefully I can pull the lore up and say it correctly. So this card is called Judgment. Oh boy. So I'm trying to get the reflections off here though. So I says it makes me think of the Clintons, the Democratic Party, and Donald Trump. As the seven notes or loss of eighth are played by an angel via the trumpet, the hidden coffins and buried bodies / secrets float out of the scorpionic thawed icy waters, coming unearthed, opening, exposing / revealing everything to be seen and judged. The ending of winter and the beginning of spring, or a new season / era. P.S. I did say biblical. So I'm gonna start this off with the Ace of Swords. So let's see here. This is the first card, the Ace of Swords. And so basically, you see the hand that's coming out of nowhere and dropping a weapon. And in this instance, it is a sword, but a weapon can be anything, a bomb or whatever. But anyway, or like a bombshell, like Danny Williams Clinton or some Epstein situation. But anyway, the point is this is the beginning, and you see this. It looks like fire and a crown, and see people say that this card or this suit of cards, the swords, is represented by air, but I take it that it's represented by fire, in my opinion. Even though I'm just beginning, that's how I take it, and that's how I see it, and that's how it's going to be for me, because I do things differently. So this card right here, it's the Two of Swords. Let me try to get the reflections out of here. I wonder if I can just hold it like this. That's better. So that's the Two of Swords. And so what this means to me is that a decision has to be made, either to kill or not to kill this person who's blindfolded and they're helpless. Even though they're holding two swords, it's just the depiction of the situation. To kill this person or to not kill this person. And right here it makes me think of the Tyler Robinson situation and Charlie Kirk. And what I had a dream about this. Pretty much the color white right here. It represents helplessness and Jesus, I cannot get the reflections out of here. Hopelessness and helplessness in regards to the situation they're in. So, but you are the decider of this, of the outcome of the. You're not the decider. Well, either you can be the decider, or either way, the entire point is a decision has to be made in regards to someone's life. So the Three of Swords. And okay, the reflections. This card, it confused the crap out of me until pretty much this morning. And when I figured this card out, I was like, okay, I can make the video now. But this card, to me, it means that you decided to pretty much kill the person, because the previously, it's the decision is between you and that person. It's two. One sword, two swords. You're anyway. So when you kill that person, it's not just affecting you. It's affecting that person, and it's affecting the people who love that person. So you're affecting other people, not just you. So there's a third party there, but one is dead, you're alive, and the other party's alive. Keep that in mind. And then this astrologer, he said, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. You're gonna get my point in a minute. So you took something from somebody else, somebody's love. So the next card is the Four of Swords, right? And you saw the three swords in that one. So this one sword, two sword, three swords, and your sword right here. But if you look at the man, he's sleeping peacefully. However, there's three swords hanging over his body. But even though it's like he feels that he's protected because he has his own sword with him, and he has his sword with him. So he feels that he's good. He's great. Yet those three swords are still hanging over his head. I wrote the lore down, so let me pause for a second. Okay, so I'm back. So you're sleeping peacefully, but not realizing that somebody could be considering revenge. So you got your sword, but they have theirs. It's three. It's three against one. Those four. So the next card comes up is the Five of Swords, and so these people they may attack you, but you best them and you beat them. But what I write here? This sword means he bests the others, and yes, you are the best, as the others have surrendered and given up when they're up against you and your weapons/forces. But can you truly sleep peacefully at night, as death and possible revenge awaits you? There is more than one way to get to you, and there's more than one way to skin a cat. That's the Five of Swords. Like I said, these cards, they tell a story. So, the Six of Swords. So, in this card, it shows that maybe this guy's family is shipped away because he was just attacked, but he won that battle. But let's see here. So I say the family goes away on a trip that could be due to possible danger of someone and their actions, or possibly sent away for safety and concerns. Possibly could be, or they possibly leave themselves because of the egotistical man. He keeps creating problems. However, there are swords stuck inside of the boat, and if you put a hole inside of a boat, it will sink, right? So what it means to me is that it's risky, desperate travels because of other risks and people. So that's Six of Swords. Again, these cards are telling a story. So this is the Seven of Swords, right? And so the Seven of Swords. Something of value is taken from an egotistical man while he is busy fighting or distracted. And see, if you look in the background right about here, you see these people fighting in the background, and he's probably waging war against somebody. And his weapons are being taken away from him, from his camp. And maybe he was tricked by the person who was to transport his family, transport and hide his family. And the weapons that gave him an advantage were stolen. And then a time came when he thought that he had many weapons, but he had few, due to this thief, who took advantage of the opportunity, and now the egotistical man is at a disadvantage. This same egotistical man that killed someone's love or took someone's life. So that's the Seven of Swords, right? So this is the Eight of Swords. So inside this card, it shows that someone's life or lover is held hostage by these swords, and they're blindfolded and they're helpless, and they're tied up. But you see the color of her garments. Like I told you, the first card, the Two of Swords, it was white, like she was helpless and hopeless. This woman right here has hope because of the color red, the color of love and passion. So she's expecting her lover to come save her. The Eight of Swords, the same lover who pretty much took someone else's love and killed them, and now you're inside of that same woman's place, right? Yeah, that was the Eight of Swords. So the Nine of Swords. This is the one that scared the hell out of me. The Nine of Swords. Now I had to meditate on these cards. But I had a dream about these cards too, weirdly enough. So the Nine of Swords, an egotistical man must go rescue his family/love. If they are still possibly alive. But also, he comes to realization that it is a fool's journey and that he will die in the process because the thief stole his weapons. And you see the color that he's wearing. He's wearing white. And he's not blinded by a blindfold. He's blinded by his own hands. This is his own doing. But so let me go back to my lore. He comes to the realization that it's a fool's journey and that he will die in the process. So he cannot sleep, wondering about his family and how to get them back, and the inevitable death as a result. This person, as the person in the second card, is helpless and hopeless and wearing the color white, like the person in the Two of Swords. Their fate is in someone else's hands, but it is by their own doing, as this person is covering their own eyes. Unlike the other cards where the persons were blindfolded. You did this to yourself. So it's despair. It's despair created by their own ego and actions. This has me also thinking about the Democratic Party. The Ten of Swords. And this speaks for itself. But I'll say what I wrote down. The egotistical man is killed, betrayed, and stabbed in the back by the people that he trusted or thought that he was better than. Again, there's always a way to get to someone. Always more than one way to skin a cat. So, those are the main cards, and I think I want to skip back to let me see here. So the cards that stood out to me. See, it doesn't matter if I leave this here. So still recording, huh? So like I said, I keep referencing this all started because you killed this person. And the momentum started. Where's that three? Yeah, there you are. This is what did it. You taking somebody else's love, and there's still somebody else that wants revenge. And so these cards scared the hell because they look crazy. They look crazy, especially this one. So, and then you got the other one where, yeah, this one. I didn't understand it. It looks scary until you look at the story, until you read the story, or not read the story, until you meditate on it and consider it a story. So it makes me think back to this card, Judgment. Those 7 notes being played, thawing out, getting exposed to all these secrets. And even though the card lore says 20, this is the 21st card inside of the major arcana. And so when you add 2 and 1 together, it's 3. And 3 causes ups and downs in regards to Scorpios, or the number 8. And also the number 7, like I said, the 7 notes causes a loss for the number 8. So the final 4 cards is the Page of Swords in regards to the sword or whatever. I had to meditate on these too. So I wrote it down. So this man, young and innocent, he carelessly swings his sword around just to do it. He's eager because it's new and fun to him. He wants to use the sword so badly, not knowing the results and consequences of his actions. It's like a foolish man that's like a fool, huh? Like the fool is the first card inside of the major arcana. So he doesn't know that what the results of his actions. Just like these Democrats are like, yes, you're fascist, you're Hitler, you're Nazi, and it's a slippery slope to cause so much chaos and destruction to this country. But that's what they did. So the next card, the Knight of Swords. So he finally gets his shot. So he eagerly and quickly charges into the battle and cannot wait to fight, not thinking of the consequences. He's just full speed ahead to use his sword, which is what he always wanted to do. Still, probably not knowing the consequences of his actions. So, oh, and peep the color of his robe, right here, and he has a helmet on, but just peep that right there. So, that's the Knight of Swords. Next is the Queen of Swords. Right? So you see as she's holding this sword up and she's like, come. Oh well. Pause. Well. Anyway, so it seems like she loves the power and control and authority that this sword brings. And yet, if you look at her, if you see what she's sitting at, it's like she's sitting on a beautiful gravestone throne. Does she not know that her actions have consequences? So it looks like a gravestone. It's like a cement gravestone, but maybe I'm wrong. See when I downloaded this PDF or whatever, it had different colors. Anyway, so finally we have the King of Swords. If you'd let me change it, okay. Well, I guess not. Anyway, so we're at the King of Swords, and you see how this man, you see his expression. But if you look at where he's sitting, it's like he's sitting on a grave as well. So as he sits on his gravestone throne, it looks like he's always ready to battle, as he is still wearing his knight's cloth / armor. The red cape I told you about that he was wearing right here, and it's still slightly over his head. But as he sits on his gravestone throne, he is always ready for battle, as he is still wearing his knight's cloth / armor, always ready. He is a dead man walking, if he's not paying attention. Yet his stature says, I, as king, will still come off this throne and kick your ass. He knows the consequences of his actions and he welcomes them. However, there's always this as a result. You see a red cape right there? It's shown, what, 3 times? Well, it's probably shown more. I'm just burnt out. But this king is wearing that same red cape. This knight is wearing that same red cape. This dead man is wearing that same red cape. So when people say that these cards are evil, I'm like, they showed me a story, and then plus I had a dream about this stuff too. Well, the dream wasn't. I just had a weird dream that made me re think about these cards or whatever. Now there's other cards. There are other cards. Hopefully I can just pull it without having to pause. It'd be nice if I could. No. Let me pause for a second. I should just look at the bottom. It's at the bottom of the deck. Anyway, so I grabbed 3 anyway. So it's like, yeah. So there are 3 other cards that just look kind of weird to me. This card right here. And I know what it means now, but I'm not going to say it. Not in this video. This card as well. I know what it means too now, but I'm not going to say it. And finally, this card right here, which seems to apparently throw everybody off. I know what it means now because of that dream, but I'm not going to say it because it doesn't apply to this video. Really, the Suit of Swords was the cards that applied to this video. I'm trying to see that is that where I want to end it. I don't know how much storage I have left. I'm gonna go back down these astrology dates or whatever. Hopefully I don't look too crazy, and hopefully I stayed on point. Hopefully this looks better than I think it is. But anyway, let me pause for another second. I'm gonna go down these transits and progressions or whatever. So let me pause. Okay, so I see all that to say is that I say that all to say pretty much these people killed Charlie Kirk. I'm thinking about the three of swords. Anyway, so back to this card, Judgment. It makes you think about the Democratic Party and the Clintons. And that astrologer saying you live by the sword, you die by the sword. You live by the sword, you die by the sword. Even though Charlie Kirk, he lived by his word. As a matter of fact, living by his word or whatever. What's the final card? Let me pause for a second. Okay, but I was talking about Charlie Kirk, right? And I pretty much said that Charlie Kirk he used his words or whatever. He didn't live by a sword. And so, what it makes me think of in regards to Charlie Kirk, how did this get here? But anyway, is the 10 of Wands. I've told you that pretty much I considered personally after not doing research, but after just meditating on these cards, I treat swords as the element fire, and wands the element air. And so like I said, this 10 right here, pretty much when you go up against Charlie Kirk, you might as well put your other ideals away, because he wins. Just like me, his son was conjunct Spiker, my ascendant is conjunct Spiker. You go up against me, you're gonna lose. But that's what I think, especially in regards to what thinking about Charlie Kirk. If you come up against him in scripture, you're not gonna win that battle. Put your shit up and take your ass home. You lose. You lose. Think about Nicki Minaj. And Itty Bitty Piggy. Anyway, so I said I was gonna set up and go down the astrology dates or whatever one more time or whatever. And let's see here. In regards to my thoughts on the results of the election, I don't care. Like I'm like, this is probably why some person will probably watch this video. Like, what does he think about the election in New York and the Republicans? I don't care. I don't plan on voting in 2026 nor 2028 if Jennifer Boozer's shop Canada is still closed, and I mean it. Donald Trump, he campaigned on pretty much a lot of people. They saw that they had the best chance of having marijuana rescheduled by voting for him, since he was the one who created the farm bill, or signed the farm bill, not created, signed the farm bill, 2018 farm bill. And yet here we are. It's 2 months after a year and 2 months after Donald Trump, he claimed that he was for what, the Florida, was it Proclamation 3 or something like that? I forgot now, but anyway, he said that he was for the rescheduling of marijuana, and here we are, still nothing, and we have businesses closing that invested inside of Donald Trump. So I don't plan on voting in 2026, Republican nor Democrat, nor independent. I want to save my gas and stay my ass at home. Unless Jennifer Boozer's shop, Canada is back open or whatever, or marijuana is rescheduled. And thinking about pretty much that's what I want to say before I go into the transits and the progressions. All the things that Donald Trump has done since he's been in office is great and all, but in regards to real world personal value, nothing has changed. But I guess you can say the egg prices are down and food prices are slightly down, and gas slightly down, but still, like, people, like, there are some people, they're trying to figure out how they're going to pay off these student loans, and yet these banks, they're pretty much these interest rates, they can't pay them off because they're paying the bare minimum or whatever. And some people, they said they've been paying on these student loans their entire life, and they still owe the same amount of money as they borrowed. And so something needs to be done about that. You got the SNAP benefit situation that's going on now, but marijuana, people was expecting for that to be rescheduled because, like I said, a black man was killed in Alabama recently, right when Andy Witt he signed. Well, no, the bill that he signed and Kay Ivey signed, it went into effect on July the 1st, 2025. But the boy was killed on June the 23rd, 2025, and this was days before that bill was going into effect. So the stuff that whatever he had on him should have been legal. However, the police officer said that he detained him for the smell of hemp or marijuana or whatever, but it was legal at the time. So if marijuana was rescheduled during that period of time, that boy would still be alive right now. That black boy would still be alive right now. So I'm not. So if anybody's saying, "Oh, the Democrats they got Trump this time," I don't care. I don't care. I mean, there are too many other politicians that are pretty much trying to use Donald Trump's name and his election win to try to push their agenda or whatever, when that's not what people voted for. And so this election, this November 5th election that happened inside New York and Virginia or whatever, and all those other places, whatever, where these Democrats they pretty much won a lot. I hope it does put the fear of God inside of Dan Patrick, and Andy Witt. Anyway, then we're going to get to the transits real quick, or the progressions real quick, and then we're going to call it a day. Let me pause for a second. Okay, so I'm going to start back on October 30th, 2025. For Hunter Biden, I said that his progressed moon would trine his natal Uranus, and it would be a shocking event. And apparently, the GOP that came out and said that the pardons that the auto pen signed were considered void. And I told you that with the pardons that Joe Biden that the auto pen signed on January 20th, 2025 were considered void by the GOP. And I told you that I told you this all the way back on June the 2nd, 2024, when Donald Trump though they brought those 34 felonies against Donald Trump. I said that the same sense of loss that Donald Trump felt around that time, I said that Joe Biden will feel on the 20th of January 2025, and we're still talking about these pardons. And yet also they're still talking about these those 34 felonies too, weirdly enough. Which brings us back to the Hunter Biden, his progressed moon trine his natal Uranus. So, okay, I said on November 5th, 2025, for Chuck Schumer, his progressed moon made an aspect to his nose. It was like a fated event for him. Also, there's a full moon on this day. And also, Donald Trump, on November 5th, 2025, his progressed moon made an aspect to his progressed Uranus. That's, like I said, something shocking should have happened around that date. And also, for Donald Trump Jr., on November 5th, 2025, his progressed moon conjoined his natal Jupiter. That means he got lucky for some reason. And so, you know that the result of the November 5th, 2025 election, where let me pause for a second. Okay, so the man who beat Andrew Cuomo his name was Zoran Mandami. And I mean, pretty much, it was kind of obvious that if Donald Trump endorses anyone, especially a Democrat, that all these other Democrats, especially inside of a Democratic city, that all these Democrats are going to vote against this person. So I mean, I'm like, whatever. I think Donald Trump secretly wanted to didn't want Andrew Cuomo to become the government to win the governor race. And so Jay Jones, apparently he won the Virginia State Attorney General whatever situation or whatever. And apparently that man, he said that he reportedly wished death on conservatives' children or whatever. Somehow two gunshots to the head or something. I don't know the whole situation. I don't care. I'm burnt out. Like I said, like this other astrologer said, if you live by the sword, you die by the sword. So, whatever. Moving on. So, that was on November 5th, 2025. So the next situation that comes up is going to be when transiting Uranus changes signs. That's going to be on November 7th, 2025. And it goes back into the sign Taurus. And let's see here. On November 9th, 2025, transiting Mercury will begin to retrograde. And let's see here. On November 12th, 2025, transiting Mercury will conjoin transiting Mars in the sky. And the last time this happened was when Prince Andrew, he dropped his Duke of York title. Also, the Amazon Web Services, it went down. And then also Virginia DeFray, she released her book called Nobody's Girl. It was a memoir or something like that. And so it's going to hit again. Oh, and then also let's not forget that on October 20th, 2025, which is around the first time that Transit Mercury conjoined Transit Mars in the sky. That's when Bill Clinton, his progressed moon, opposed his progressed Neptune. And so apparently on November 13th, 2025, for Bill Clinton, his progressed moon is going to try his progressive ascendant. And like I said, something else will come up with Bill Clinton again in regards to, or the Epstein situation again. And so the next time we will see something is on November 29th, 2025, and that's when transit retrograde Mercury will station and go direct, I believe. I think also around this time on November 28th, right? Let's go by. I believe on November 28th. Let me pause for a second because these notes are kind of getting jumbled up. Okay, so on November 28th, 2005, for Bill Clinton, his progressed moon will oppose his natal Venus. And the last time this hit was on June 21st, 1998. So I think around this time also is Chuck Schumer. His he'll have a progression that hits on this day as well. Let's see here. Chuck Schumer. Yeah, on November 30th, 2025, his progressed moon will aspect his natal Chiron. It's like a fated job he has to do. Maybe he has to end the government shutdown. It'll be crazy that the government shutdown lasts all the way to November 30th, 2025, but that could be the situation. This is interesting because around this time, Elon Musk, his progressed moon will square his progressed Saturn, and like that means it's something like an emotional loss for Elon Musk. But around the same time, for Elon Musk, his progressed moon was sextile his natal sun. It's like an ego boost or whatever. And so, who knows what could come up around this time? Because also around the same time, for Ghislaine Maxwell, her progressed Pluto will trine her natal Mercury, and that's on December 5th, 2005, and that's like explosive, transformative information. And so that's why I said something huge could come up with this Epstein situation. Let's see here, what else? Now, on December 14th, 2005, Donald Trump Jr., his progressed moon was sextile his natal Chiron. It's like a job that he has to do. For Barron Trump, on December 15th, 2025, his progressed moon will make an aspect to his natal sun. And it's like an ego boost for him. On December 18th, 2025, for Donald Trump, his progressed moon will quincunx his sun. That's an ego boost for him. And see, this is all around the time of the whatever big Epstein event that's about to happen. On December 19th, 2025, for Hunter Biden, his progressed moon will make an aspect to his progressed nodes, and it's like a fated event for him. On December 27th, 2025, for Hillary Clinton, her progressed moon will make an aspect to her natal Chiron, and that means it's like a fated job that she has to do. And the last time this hit was on September 17th, 1998, and the star report was submitted on September 9th, 1998. So that's interesting. So something big could go down in regards to Hillary Clinton around this time as well too. So on January 2nd, 2026, for Trump Jr., his progressed moon is sextile his progressed Chiron. It's like a fated job that he has to do. Right? I think I got this twice, right? Keep on moving. So what concerns me is for Donald Trump. On January 14th, 2026, his progressed moon will trine his natal Saturn. It will be like an emotional block or a loss for Donald Trump. However, and then on January 15th, 2026, for Hunter Biden, his progressed moon will sextile his progressed sun, and it's like an ego boost for him. And for Bill Clinton, on January 16th, 2026, his progressed moon was sextile his progressed nodes. And the last time this happened was on September 14th, 1998, and that's when the star report was sent to Congress, which was on September 9th, 1998. Let's see here. I missed something because Chuck Schumer, he had something that's going to come up inside his chart. So let me pause for a second. Okay, but let me try to start back over. So I said on January 16, 20. Well, let me go back to Hunter Biden. Um, on January 15th, 2026, for Hunter Biden, his progressed moon was sextile his progressed sun. And that means it's like an ego boost. And then also for Bill Clinton on January 16th, 2026, his progressed moon was sextile his progressed nodes. And the last time this happened was when the Starr Report was submitted to Congress on September 9th, 1998. So also on January 23rd, 2026, for Bill Clinton, his progressed moon was trine his progressed Pluto. And the last time this happened was around August 9th, 1998, around the time of the submission of the Starr Report. The thing that I missed, that I actually had it written down here, was just further up. So on January 25th, 2026, for Adam Schiff, his progressed moon was sextile his natal Jupiter. It's like they all get lucky around this time. So whatever this situation with Bill Clinton is gonna be, apparently the Democrats, they get lucky again. Just like when I said that the for the month of October, the Democrats, they got lucky, and apparently it was the government shutdown which was the reason why they got lucky. And so it's like this Bill Clinton second impeachment or whatever that's going on or whatever. It's like this causes them to have some luck too. Let's see here. On January 26, 2026, transiting Neptune will change signs. Because like I said again, Donald Trump is having his progressed moon aspect and his progressed Saturn on the 14th of January 2026, and also on November 14th, 2025. That's when Donald Trump Jr. his progressed moon will make an aspect to his Saturn as well. It's like something. It's a bad event for Trump and them, but it's a good event for the Democrats in the future. And like I said, Donald Trump's not gonna be too happy about the midterm elections or whatever. Let me see. Am I gonna stop there? So I'm gonna stop here. So on February 11, 2026, for Bill Clinton, his progressed moon with quincunx his progressed sun. It's another ego boost. I've already said that transit Neptune changes signs on January 26, 2026. On February 13th, 2026, transiting Saturn changes signs, and it goes back to Aries. And I want to end it there. Yeah. So it is what it is. We're just gonna see what comes up. Maybe something could come up with Donald Trump where, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, again, the Democrats, they get lucky for some reason again. But however, the people are going to rally around Donald Trump in 2027 after the midterm elections. So that's going to be it for me. Hopefully this wasn't too long, and hopefully I didn't look too crazy. Again, I don't plan on voting for anybody until cannabis is rescheduled, and that's pretty much it. I mean, all this other stuff, whatever, it's cannon fodder. Do I not care about the Democrats and what they're doing and all this stuff? I do care. But the thing about it is that at this point, I see it almost as like I hate to say necessary evil, because something's going to happen regardless that's out of everybody's control that's going to cause civil strife, and that's going to be by 2027 or when transiting Uranus goes into and finally stays into Gemini, the sign Gemini. So let me pause for a second to get that date. Okay, so transiting Uranus is going to finally enter into Gemini and stay inside of Gemini on April 25th, 2026, which is very close to my birthday, weirdly enough. Anyway, so, and after that, you can expect like a lot of civil strife and things leading to like almost a civil war. Especially when transiting Uranus, I believe, conjoins, when transiting Mars in the sky conjoins transiting Uranus. And also, I think inside the United States birth chart or whatever, I think it has Mars inside of Gemini. So you got to consider transiting Uranus conjoining the United States natal Mars, which again is inside of Gemini. Anyway, let me pause for a second to see if I can try to find it. If I can't, then that's going to be another day. It's been a long day. Let me pause. Okay, I couldn't find it, but anyway, on this trajectory, if you have these people that they keep on trying to just cause fights and strife and drama, like this other astrologer said, you live by the sword, you die by the sword, in reference to Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk, he didn't fight people. He debated people, just like the ten of wands. And when he won, all he do is walk away with new ideas, like the 10 of wands tarot card. On this trajectory, this is the only thing I can see how things end in regards to the Democrats, especially taking God out of out of schools and out of the foundation of the United States via the sword by killing Charlie Kirk. Anyway, I believe that's most of the astrology. After that, let's see here, because some people might only just watch like one video. So let me give like the final dates in regards to the Bill Clinton situation. So let me pause for a second. So the final dates that are in regards to Bill Clinton is going to be on May 4th, 2026, where his progressed moon was sextile his natal nodes. That means it's like a fated event for him. May 16th, 2026 for Bill Clinton, his progressed Venus will conjoin his progressed Mars. May 27th, 2026, where his progressed Mercury will sextile his natal Mars. Those are not really the final dates because we have the election, but like I said, Donald Trump's not going to be talking about the results of the midterm election. I don't know why, but yeah, it seems like the Democrats can twist and turn anything and everything, so it is what it is. Anyway, that's it for now. Well, let me pause for a second just to make sure, and then if it is, I'm gonna say that's it for now. I couldn't find the day where transiting Uranus conjoins the United States natal Mars. I just know that all astrologers say that pretty much as transiting Uranus goes into Gemini, the United States has always had some kind of civil strife or civil war. So let me pause for a second just to see if that's everything I want to say inside this video. So yeah, I believe that's it. I guess well, is this a Bill Clinton video or is this not? Let me pause for a second. Okay, so I guess I'll end this video with my quote and this joke that I just keep making inside these other videos, whatever. But why not? So this is kind of like a Bill Clinton video, and this is like days before whatever this big progression that's going on inside of Bill Clinton's chart hits or whatever in regards to into maybe some kind of impeachment situation. Anyway, so they said that this eclipse that happened on September 7th and September 21st, 2025 was going to take out Donald Trump. And I did say that it's going to irritate or piss off Donald Trump, but it wasn't going to take him out. I said that in the end, it's going to be Bill Clinton who gets taken out. Yeah. And so I said, this here eclipse for you. Pretty much, this turned out to be the Salt River Bay quarter. And apparently, the testimony that, so basically, Bill Clinton was subpoenaed to testify one day after Christopher Columbus Day. And the Salt River Bay was the first place that Christopher Columbus landed in. And pretty much also November 13th is the day that I believe Christopher Columbus landed in the Americas, in the Salt River Bay, I believe. And also, let's see here, what else? I did say that on November 13th, 2025, that Bill Clinton, he would have the same astrology that he had all the way back during the impeachment hearings that happened on December 19th, 1998, but the astrology happened on December 26th, 1998. And then we've already seen a snippet of this that happened on July the 5th, 2025. That's when the DOJ came out and said that Epstein did in fact kill himself and that Epstein did not have a client list. And so the last time this progression hit in 1998 was on January 26th, 1998, and that's when Bill Clinton claimed to not have had sexual relations with Monica Lewinsky. And so the progression the progression is basically Bill Clinton's progressed moon making an opposition to his natal moon, and a progression and his oh my god. So the progression is Bill Clinton's progressed moon making an opposition to his natal ascendant, and his progressed moon making a quincunx in 1998 to his progressed ascendant, and in 2025, it's progressive moon making a trine to its progressive ascendant. In 2025. Anyway, so that's why I keep bringing up this quarter and this half dollar. You know, the half dollar features John F. Kennedy. If it let me show it. You know, John F. Kennedy was assassinated. And so this is the eclipse again. And this is the, again, Salt River Bay quarter. And let's finish with this. Pretty much, there's an article from the New Republic. Oh, goodness, where's my tape measure? Let me pause for a second. Hope I can hold this right, but apparently there's an article from the New Republic. It's titled Presidential Penis, a Short History. So it says that thanks to various sex scandals regarding Bill Clinton, we have a detailed descriptions, plural, multiple, of Bill Clinton's penis, according to Robert Bennett, Clinton's lawyer in the Paula Jones case. In terms of size, shape, direction, whatever the devious mind wants to concoct, the president is a normal man. There are no blemishes. There are no... Ooh, where is it? Oh God, I can't find it. Is that small? Oh, let me start back over. Let me try to find it again. Okay. So in terms of size, because I'm doing this, yeah. In terms of size, shape, direction, whatever the devious mind wants to concoct, the president is a normal man. There are no blemishes. There are no moles. There are no growths, which I'm shocked of. I'm surprised of. The Independent offered a more prosaic account. His erect penis is about 5 inches long, has the circumference of a quarter, and heads off at an angle, presumably rather like a finger bent at the joint. And so, if you notice, these are all Salt River Bay quarters. And apparently, like I said, this astrology that happens inside Bill Clinton's chart, it hits on the same day that Christopher Columbus he landed inside of the Americas. And again, also Bill Clinton, he was subpoenaed to testify on the same day of Charlie Kirk's birthday. But it's also one day after Christopher Columbus Day. Go figure. It's a lot of coincidences all lining up at one point. Let's see here. I say all this to say is that pretty much I created my YouTube channel in regards to Hillary Clinton, the astrology that I saw inside Hillary Clinton's chart. And so I saw the stuff that was going on inside her chart, not thinking to look at Bill Clinton's chart. And then boom, I saw almost everything. Speaking of almost everything, Danny Williams Clinton, Bill Clinton's alleged black love child, from Arkansas, which is a state that seceded from the Union all the way back during slavery days or whatever, or slavery times. It was probably one of the most racist states. Anyway, but so Bill Clinton was apparently the governor of Arkansas at one point in time, and there's this man who claims to be Bill Clinton's biological son. Let's see here. His name is Danny Williams Clinton, or Danny Williams / Clinton. And so basically the astrology shows to me that Danny Williams Clinton is Bill Clinton's biological son, reportedly and allegedly for now, is basically the fact that back when Danny Williams was born, I believe it was 1985, right? So on November 10th and 11th, Bill Clinton had two major progressions that hit inside of his chart, where his progressed Saturn made an aspect to his natal Mars from the 10th house, and his progressed Mars made an aspect to his natal Saturn, and it's from his first house to his 10th house. So it made a 10th house, first house aspect, and these are bad planets. So Bill Clinton should have had some kind of major infuriating block or loss around this time. And this is on November 10th, 1985. And kind of find out that pretty much on December 7th, 1985, that's when Danny Williams Clinton was born. So that's what proves to me that Danny Williams Clinton was Danny Williams Clinton is Bill Clinton's biological son. His black love child, apparently. And so this could mean that a black woman was the first Jennifer Flowers, because Jennifer Flowers was apparently the first incident with Bill. Well, the first reported newsworthy reported incident with Bill Clinton, and then came Monica Lewinsky. But what if a black woman was the first, quote unquote, Jennifer Flowers / Monica Lewinsky? Anyway, and so I said I want to end this video in regards to just saying my quote. So let me pull out the judgment card one more time, and then we're going to call it a day. And pause for a second. Okay, so here's the judgment card again. And so I quoted, I said, let the history books / devices always and forever say, 1 year and 3 days after Donald Trump should have died by assassination, he came back, and on the third day, like Jesus, pissed in the faces of his enemies, called it rain, and then destroyed them. And then he lived happily ever after. The end. P.S. I did say biblical. Signed, Astrologer Ice Blue 33, the god of astrology. I initially made this post on July the 20th, 2025, and this is right after Donald Trump. He said on July the 16th, 2025, that the Epstein situation would always and forever be considered a hoax. And I said, nah. Looking at the astrology, something big's about to go down this year. Looking at the future astrology, as transit Uranus goes through the sign Gemini, something huge about to go down. And my whole entire point this entire time was that, in regards to Hillary Clinton, this seems to probably be the thing that's gonna make it so that she will never become the first female president of the United States. But maybe she will be. Who knows? But the astrology shows that this year and next year it's gonna be crazy. Well, next year, because this year's over with now. But next year's gonna be crazy. So I believe that is everything for me. So bye for now.